UNAIDS, the body that coordinates the UN's response to the pandemic, has published its annual report, coincident with World AIDS Day on December the 1st. And although they're going to be very surprised to hear me say this, it's an excellent document. It's really the best of the last several years. It has none of the razzmatazz and glitz and glitter that formerly painted the pages. It doesn't have any of that Madison Avenue sloganeering that characterized previous reports. It doesn't even have the excessive self-aggrandizing photography, which was so embarrassing. It's actually very, very good. It's a methodical, careful, analytic exposition of a variety of interventions dealing with the pandemic in country after country around the world. It's really quite fascinating. UNAIDS must have undergone some kind of intellectual transplant. But in any event, I urge you to read it. It's based on a new kind of premise or approach, which is the fast-tracking approach, that they want to end AIDS by 2030, and in order to do that, the next 5 years are crucial. So they're focusing in this report on what they call locations and populations. Locations meaning that within countries there are obvious geographic areas where the prevalence rates are highest and have to be addressed. And populations means the vulnerable groups, whether it's adolescent girls or gay men, where the levels of infection are very high. And that will be the concentration. Now, forgive me, I don't think you need to be a Rhodes Scholar to note that that's where we should be setting the priorities, but UNAIDS treats it with a kind of biblical reverence, so I will do so as well. But all in all, it's a good report worth reading. Nonetheless, and this is not to criticize the report, it does point out that in 2014, there were 2 million new infections. 2 million. This is virtually 35 years after the start of the pandemic. And 1,200,000 people died. It also points out that although by the end of this year there will be roughly 16 million people receiving treatment, there are 21 million people who still require treatment. So less than 50% are in treatment, and that's about 20 years after treatment began. And there are only 32% of all children in treatment, less than a third who are living with HIV. So we have a real problem there. And look at the funding. In 2014, we spent $20 billion overall on HIV and AIDS. And in 2020, we will require $31 billion. And where that money will come from is not evident. And on top of that, there's the focus, quite disheartening, on some of the most agitated areas in vulnerable groups. For example, 5,000 new infections every week amongst young women and girls, and the vast majority, up to 80%, in sub-Saharan Africa. So the report's tremendously sobering. The area that I take strongest issue with is this business of ending the pandemic. They call it epidemic in 2030. Look, come 2030, there will be roughly 40 million people living with HIV or living with AIDS. This pandemic is going to haunt us for generations to come, and the people on the ground struggling for survival know it. So the greatest correction that UNAIDS can make in the next adequate report is to remove this reference to ending AIDS in 2030. It's dissembling. It's ambiguous, it's misleading, it's actually dishonest. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.